If you love motorsport, you will absolutely love the game F1 2020 and many others like it. But have you got the F1 Ultimate Playseat? $4,000, available at the Gamesman. We're going to unbox, set it up, and see what it's like. Now, straight up, I got to tell you, loving the red. So the difference with the Ultimate is it's still got the same F1 Playseat physical seat, but there's a much more rigid frame around it. Now, if you've ever sat in a Playseat, you'll know that the steering column is kind of very singular and independent. There's no support around it. So after years of use, it does get quite a bit of movement in it. And so this creates a rigid frame around the kind of front of the car, and your feet are even higher lifted. So a much more realistic position for F1 drivers. So this is really an F1 sim, as is the name. And because your feet are lifted quite high, this is actually the base that holds it all up. So you get that full support down. Again, so there's no movement on the actual unit. All right, so we can pretty much see the parts now. That's your back base. That's where the seat's going to go. This whole bit comes out for adjustment, and then your side supports for the pedals. And then from across the top, you've got a support for the wheel mechanism. So let's get all the bits and let's start building. All right, I've got my Works portable drill has an Allen key attachment just for those key moments. We'll do the full tightening with the physical Allen key. So all the bits are here, that's good. Now let's take it easy and get this done. So we want to build the main structure up now with the basic bolts. Now, having done a count of the parts, I do think I'm missing some screws, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Maybe they're in the box, but it's only a couple, which is fascinating. So, all right, let's get the top part on. You see the weight of it, the weight of the front of it is just bringing it down. And it actually tells you not to fully tighten those. I'm going to do everything the instructions say. All right, so that's both sides in and tightened. Now, the leg supports, obviously. Right, so they do spread apart. I was looking at it going, hang on a minute, it doesn't line up, but these spread apart so that you get the exact fit. I'm going to tell you that has a front and back, and that's not indicated on there. So just ever so slightly angles in. The playseat just kind of angles to the toe, and that's what you've got to look for. Yeah, that's better. Okay, those are not done up. Let's sit it so it's definitely rigid and comfortable. Don't really want to tighten everything until we know that it's all perfectly in place. Okay, now up top we're going to place what would be the pedal rack, which would be this. And it says PlaySeat on it. That goes at the front and they go in the side. So this is interesting because it means the foot position is broadly defined by your installation. There may be one small amount of movement in it, but it's broadly very much installation defined. So you're always moving your seat position and pedal and wheel position, as opposed to on the standard F1 you can move the pedal and wheel position, but not the seat. But you can, because this back one goes up, you can tilt the pedals. I'm going to stick with a flat position, I think, for now. I'll see how comfortable it is. Beautiful. All right, now these unlock. Oh wow, that's cool. All right. But again, this being is adjustable this way. So I'm actually gonna put this one okay, so then this is the physical mount. Again, machined metal. Now there's two different mounting methods, one for direct drive, one for other products. The Thrustmaster is not a direct drive model, so let's, I can't even see what's different about it, but we'll work it out. Okay, it's a very tight fit, so I'm thinking that doesn't seem to physically fit, but when you squeeze it apart a bit, it all comes together. So let's find this placement. And again, once this is in, supremely adjustable. So many potential positions for this to make it just ultimately comfortable. So we have the fundamental seat, and because this is unlocked, we can see how the wheel position can slide forward and then be locked in place with those two simple things. That's awesome. This is now suggesting we tighten everything up. I'll do that in a sec. Actually, I did tighten that already to the right point. So the reason they wanted that slightly loose was so that we could get that in, because it is quite a very tight fit. So let's just do the final fitting on the wheel position, which obviously you'd adjust once you get the wheel on and in. Okay, so now it wants us, now that everything is in a strategic place, we can tighten all of the key points of contact around the play seat. All right, now the seat gets assembled, M812s. Okay, so now 4 nuts and bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the base seat that gets locked in. Do a crossing angle. Two final screws. All right, so there it is, all put together. We've got movement on the wheel position. Pedal position is static, so we push the seat back, I'm assuming. We sit down, we pull the wheel forward, get our feet up and pull the seat into position. How do you lock it? Oh, because you're pushing back, so you can come forward automatically, but pushing back doesn't move it. Wow, that's comfy. This is a $4,000 seat, gaming seat. It is, I can already tell it's more sturdy and rigid than the standard F1 play seat, which has this same back. This is the exact same physical seat as the F1 play seat, but it's a completely different frame. There's no big frame around the standard one, and that's because this is much more rigid, so you can already feel how this is going to be full tight support. And I am snug as a bug in here. So we'll get the pedals on, which is probably going to need to be in that position. Get the wheel in place, and let's get racing. You can have a look at this exact play seat down at the Gamesman in Penshurst in Sydney. Thanks to the Gamesman and Play Seat for hooking me up with this just for a little while. I promise to get it back to you. Full details, photos at EFGM.com. I think it's time to set up the wheel.